Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible.
Have the right number of iPads. What's that? As opposed to the big city. All right, lost my cursor. The last plane out of Vietnam.
We're live.
Whoa, and you're on there twice. I need to change my audio.
As I do you.
I wish there was a way to just mute and unmute. It would be so much easier. Steve and I, in order to be able to hear each other, have to keep switching between inputs and outputs, and it's very confusing. There we go. Merry Christmas, everybody. Oh, that reminds me. There's a blank spot in the show notes, Steve, that says live show next week. We have to discuss this. We're going to take a vote.
Yes. Let's involve the chat room.
Yes, we're gonna goof around here for a while.
Oh, don't
until
forget
enough people join. What?
the shirts.
Yes. Well, yeah, we should start with our shirts. We're going to get close to our screens here so you can see what they are.
Who can recognize what that is? There's a macro and a micro level recognition. And they're related. We got a little delay. All right, chat
That's
room.
long enough. Can you guys see what they are?
No sound on pod feet. Is that true?
Frank says no sound. Can anybody else hear me?
I hear you, pod feet. Christmas trees, not quite. They look like Christmas trees, but they're not symmetric, and that's for a reason.
Yep. And look closely. Very, very closely.
Star Trek, yes, it's the Starfleet insignia.
There they go.
Which is kind of like in the shape of a tree, but not symmetric. And each of the little ornaments is actually a starship.
Yep.
Various size and shape.
Ooh, nerds.
Yeah,
Hey,
all the way.
So they can hear me in Discord, but they may not be able to hear me in the live on YouTube Live. Ask we know Dorothy. Well, no, Dorothy's in there. So who was it that just said they couldn't? Wheels said he couldn't hear me, and Wheels is not in the Discord.
Got it.
OM. I don't know what that means.
OM,
so
not sure.
The little speaker I was talking about, this is it. And it's really hard to see, but that's like bright blue, the skyline of Los Angeles. I really likes it. I don't need something like this, but I like it. It's very well done. Cute little thing. Okay, so what we got to figure out, let's look at the calendar, everyone. Next Sunday, I think I'm just gonna bring on. I'm just gonna sing Christmas carols. I mean, all that I've promised is there will always be a NosillaCast. I didn't ever promise it would be a good show, right? So Sunday night is the 23rd, and that's actually the night we're gonna open Christmas presents with the kids.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna do a live show on the 23rd. I technically could do a live show on the 24th.
Yeah, how many people would you get Christmas Eve on the live show?
Only the people in New Zealand and Australia. Be
Yeah.
Rose and Alistair, right? Because it'd be Christmas morning and they could tell me about their toys.
Yes,
Oh,
Kevin.
look at that. Kevin says Steve has to do his twice.
I was thinking of doing it tonight, but we're going to do it on the next show. Actually, that would be great. Christmas Eve. 'Twas the night before Christmas.
That's right.
That would
Well,
be
so
perfect.
what we could do is I just record the show on the 24th, but there isn't a live show. I think that's probably going to...
Okay.
Oh, do a live reading, Steve.
Ooh, a live reading.
You have to practice for that kind of thing, don't you?
Yeah. There are a couple tough phrases in there that are really contorted rhymes. I had to really had to kind of push on a couple. I think one of the phrases has reality distortion field in it. It's a tough one.
All right, so I think we're voting for no live show next week. Because I don't want to do it on Saturday night either.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
I'll
we
just
should
record the
spend
bits
time
when I can.
with friends and family. Hey, wait a minute. Won't we be at Diane's anyway?
On the 25th, we'll be at Diane's, not on the 24th.
Okay, got it.
The 24th is when we're doing Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner here. You have Forbes help you read it, Steve. Oh, my goodness. He is a great little mimic.
Yes, he is. Dangerously so. You got to watch what you say around him.
Okay, I'm writing this up. We have plenty of time. I only have like 6 minutes of recording time of me, and the rest is just going to be playing a bunch of stuff I did with Bart. So, no In Touch with iOS podcast that week either. Well, don't think there isn't going to be a NosillaCast.
Yeah.
It's going to be short, and it's just going to be me. Actually, I think Troy is going to do some stuff. Look what Troy made for me. Can you see these little feetsies?
Oh, they're a little shiny. A little reflection.
So, yeah, but I'm going to get really close. Look at the toe on the big toe. It's probably not resolving, is it? Can you guys tell
No,
what
it's not
that is?
focusing. Looks like a
Yeah.
little apple.
It's a little tiny Apple logo cut out. These are stickers. Those are gold, and he made some gray ones, and I got black ones. Oh, and blue ones. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the blue ones. Maybe I'll put them on Pat's. That color is not correct. It's more of a slate blue. And where's the other one? Oh, there's black too. You probably know what black looks like though. And some blank paper. Oh, and some white ones. There. How do those look?
Yeah, those are great. White on white.
Where is the, I don't know where the black ones are, though. Oh, well. Anyway, wait, I was writing, wasn't I? Rose is here, thank goodness. Won't be a live show next week. There will be a NosillaCast, however, because we never miss a show. Probably come out on Monday, I'm thinking, but you can never be sure.
Wait, this is a
No.
scripted show?
What, this one? Yeah, this is really interesting reading, but I'm thinking
Never say never.
Monday, but I'm not 100% sure about that yet. Stay tuned. The other thing I never do is I never regurgitate content. There's never been a rerun.
Really?
So when you see like, Leo does those best of shows, no best of. Maybe we should. Now I replay the beginning episode every 5 to 10 years, right?
Yeah, but that's worth it. Yeah, major anniversaries.
All right, probably time to take roll call. We got Allison and Steve and Sandy. What?
Rose said, I'm going to lay under the Christmas tree to remind my family I'm a gift.
Oh,
Nice.
you are a gift,
Well
Rose.
said. Well said.
All right, let's see. I was doing roll call. Sandy and Kevin. Why is Sandy orange? That's weird. I don't know what orange means. Alan and is Will actually here? And let's see. Dave is here. Jedi's not really here. Jerry might be here. I think Jerry's here. And Dorothy and possibly John. Rose, Rick. Somebody's in as a bot. And Frank pulling up the rear. You didn't do anything but become orange. Orange is not one of my best colors. Actually, we should bring. I'm going to bring in the present for Sandy.
Oh, I think TJ just snuck in.
All right, TJ. Okay, good. TJ, we haven't started. We're goofing around. Tessa, come here, T-Dog. Tessa. Where is she, Steve?
Go to mom.
Come on. All right. Look at Tessa.
Put
Look
her
at
hat on.
Tessa. She's Mrs. Santa. Oh, it's hard to get the hat on. I'll try. Hang on. I got to set you guys down for a second.
Oh, blackness.
there we go.
We've
Hang
entered
on,
into
hang on.
darkness.
Oh, there it is. There it is. It doesn't last very long. But look at that. How cute is that? I'll try to hold still and not be so frenetic there. Tessa, you're adorable. Tessa, come here. Come here. Wave at everybody. Oh, yeah. That's good stuff right there. All right. That was a big thing. If we got to wear hats, so does she. All right. How's my camera? The clock. You just randomly move that clock around now. You
I'm
don't
trying
care.
to
You have.
avoid other things like your face and the picture and hey T.
Oh, so we Steve did agree that it was okay to put up the what is this? His last name's Officer. Creative Vast Arts. His picture that we showed last week that Steve said it looked like a shrine, but I showed it on Daily Tech News Show and they said no, it doesn't look like a shrine. Put it up. So Steve put it up. Yes, you need to find your hat, Kevin. All right. Well, we could start recording.
We could.
That's a way to go.
You want to go in here?
NosillaCast intro. That would be a good thing to start with. And I'm going to start me up here. And I'm going to bring that down here. And I think I'll start recording. Steve, what do you think?
Sounds good to me.
NosillaCast, NC app. So for those who joined late, I don't have a lot of written material this time. It's mostly going to be Bart. Boy, that gets bright. Yeah. Sorry about that, but that's how bright it's going to be when I'm reading. I could read the HTML. I could do that, and it's not as bright. Is that better?
Looks better.
Well, let's see if I can pull that off. All right.
Is that dark mode?
Muting Steve. Well, the editor is in dark mode, but the preview is using my theme from my website.
Oh, look at Sing.
Oh,
that's
look
cute.
at the baby. Oh, the puppy. Is Bizu the type of dog, the brand name?
Brand name, yes. It's good branding.
Yeah. Dorothy, post a picture of Rocky or Jinx in their costumes. Cocker Spaniel. Her name means kiss. Aww. My grandmother had a Cocker Spaniel. I've always had a soft spot in my head for them. Okay, I better mute Steve and start recording. We'll never get done.
Get going.
Hi, this is Allison Sheridan. I lost my place. Okay. There we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, December 16th, 2018, and this is show number 710. Well, this week's show is plenty long, but I didn't actually do much in terms of blog posts. We have a lot of Bart and me to entertain you instead. Everything's better with Bart, am I right? Well, speaking of Bart, this week's Chit Chat Across the Pond was installment 68 of Programming by Stealth. In this week's show, Bart shows us how to use Bootstrap to create and style navigation using the Nav class. Navigation can be in menus on a web page or navigation around a web app and other places. There's a part in there where we get into tabs and panes where I suspect Jill or Helma will jump in to help me get it straight because I got a little bit confused. It takes a village to help me out sometimes. I do know that Dorothy will enjoy the episode in particular because there's several times where I have to begrudgingly admit that she was right. You can find this episode in your podcatcher of choice under Chit Chat Across the Pond or Programming by Stealth. And of course, you can find it at podfeet.com with a link over to Bart's fabulous written tutorial. This week, I had the pleasure of being on the Daily Tech News Show with Tom Merritt, Sarah Lane, and Roger Chang. I had a blast as we talked about how Facebook yet again revealed a flaw that allowed people's photos to be exposed without their knowledge. We talked about the latest in the battle between Qualcomm and Apple and how I was right that VR is dumb. We talked about the latest spear phishing scam that you're going to hear Bart and me talk about later in the show on Security Bits. The main topic was all about how I set up Apple TVs around my house using AirPlay 2, the whole story that you heard last week. If you want to check out that latest episode of Daily Tech News Show, it is at DTNS 3429. It is entitled AirPlay 2 Remodel Boogaloo. Well, next Sunday is when we will be celebrating Christmas with our kids. We do it on Christmas Eve every year. So there's not going to be a live show next week. I asked the chat room, did they want me to do it on actual Christmas Eve? Because I think that's Christmas Eve, really, on Sunday. I'm getting all confused. But anyway, nobody wants to listen to the NosillaCast live on Christmas Eve, so there will not be a live show next week. I'm not sure what day the show is going to come out because, of course, there will be a NosillaCast because we never miss a show. So I'm not really sure. It might come out on Monday, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Stay tuned. There we go. Dorothy, you're going to love Chit Chat. Remember how you told me that I needed to connect the JavaScript, the on-click, to my button? That's exactly what Bart said I had to do. So I go, fine, Dorothy was right. She was helping me with my homework, and I kept telling her I didn't want to do it the way she said I had to do it.
Have you done a save in chapter mark?
I have not done a chapter mark, but here's Bart coming up. So I should do a chapter mark.
Yes.
There's no let's see, Bart on Refurb Store. Might just let you guys listen to this.
We got time.
Yeah. Let's see how long it is. It is... It's 11 minutes. I could screw around in the chat room with you guys. That would be fun. It might come out on Monday, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
That's pretty
That's
loud.
just my regular playback, Steve.
Okay. It's peaking a little at this end, just in Mimo.
Let me think. Well, I did playback about 8 times testing earlier, and you didn't say anything about it. Let me keep going. Stay tuned. Well, I've asked Bart to come on here to talk to us about something, a couple of fun things here. As you know, after the PBS episodes, I always say, if you enjoy Bart's work as much as I do, why don't you consider going over to lets-talk.ie and hitting those bright, I think they're blue buttons, is that right?
Pretty blue, yeah.
Pretty blue buttons. There's one for PayPal and the better one for Patreon. And it looks like between that and some work you've been doing for a client, you've been able to afford a new toy.
I have, yes. So I do a little bit of consulting work with my Bartificer Creations hat on, and I had a few invoices come in together at the end of the year, which is very nice when they do that at the end of the year. That's a nice time to come together. So I have been stressing about the fact that my main Mac, my only Mac, has been 3 years out of Apple Care.
Oh, really? 3 years? Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a lovely 27-inch iMac, and it served me really well for its 5 and a bit years of life. But I did sort of have this feeling that any morning I could wake up, and when I jiggle the mouse, nothing would happen.
Oh, wow.
That was my perpetual fear. So I had a few invoices come at the same time. So I went to apple.com and acquired an identical looking iMac, but quite different on the inside. It was the very, very first.
You know what? I'm going to do something here. So Bart and I have been doing, oh, wait. That was right. Bart and I have been doing a double ender for the last little while, and he's got this new Mac that he's talking about, and there's a hiss on the line, but the audio I think would be better. He's peaking to some extent, and I think the audio might be better if I got rid of the peaking. So I might put up with the hiss. You know, that makes me crazy, and I'm trying to help him figure out how he got that hiss. Go there, and then if I split the audio on that.
The hiss as you were recording it?
Yeah, the hiss is on his recording. It's not on mine. It's on his recording of him. Yeah. Let me mute that track. Wait. No. Wait. No, keep that one.
There,
Mute
I'm going to
that
show
one. Mute that one. Okay. All right. Let's see. I want to just hear how this sounds. Let me slide him over a little bit. It's actually, yeah. Cut that. Split that for sure. Get rid of that piece. All right. I want to hear how this sounds instead. Those bright, I think they're blue buttons. Is that right?
Pretty blue, yeah.
Pretty blue buttons. There's one for PayPal and the better one. He's still peaking on his own.
Yeah, he is definitely louder.
So I do a little bit of consulting work with my Bartificer Creations hat on.
Okay, let's listen to... Don't do that.
And I had a few invoices come in together at the end of the year, which is...
Also clicking.
It's very nice when they do that at the end of the year. That's a nice time to come together.
All right, I think I like his recording better than mine. I am going to keep his, and I'm going to move this up to there. We're going to slide that around, and I'll try to get you back where we were talking. Let me see if it's lined up. The blue buttons, is that right? Whoop, moved it up onto an empty track. The blue buttons, is that right?
Pretty blue, yeah.
Pretty blue buttons. Excited.
I have, yes. So I do a little bit of consulting of Apple Care.
Oh, really? 3 years. Yeah. Okay. Where were we?
Yeah, and the current mid-2017, which is actually the current model, which is an important point I'll get to in a moment.
Yeah. So you had a 2013. So it was already the real thin one back then.
It was the very, very first real thin one. It was literally I bought that iMac just when they did their big change. I sort of went, let's make this one last.
So was that a 4K or 5K display or anything?
No, it was before they were. It's literally the first thin one, so it's a regular old non-retina, plain old display.
Oh, okay.
So, quite the change. I don't know how my eyeballs didn't fall out of my head.
So now the way you acquired this was interesting too.
Right. So I was looking at. So I went to Apple.com and I spec'd up. My sort of approach is always spec up the ideal machine and don't look at the price until you're finished,
Okay.
and then start compromising.
Well, actually, technically, there was a previous step. You told me you were going to max out the RAM on your old Mac.
I was. So I went to OWC, which is great. I love those guys. And it would have cost me $105 plus postage plus VAT, which I think would have worked out about €130 or something. Which actually wasn't bad to get it up to 16 gigs of RAM.
Wow. Okay.
That would have been quite nice, yeah. So I started this one at 16 gigs. And I started this
By
one
the way,
with
my opinion was that was good money after bad, but I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to say that. But it was like, oh.
I didn't realize at the time there would be a new iMac quite so near in my future. Because I'm now in the bizarre position where OWC have told me that when the package arrives, because it hasn't arrived yet, because I took a cheap shipping option, that I should reject it and let it return to sender, and then they'll refund me.
Oh,
And that way I don't have to pay the
so
tax,
good.
because if I accept the package, they're great, I love them to bits. If I accept
Yeah.
the package, I have to pay the VAT and stuff on it. If I reject the package, it goes back to them without any tax being paid in Ireland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're sort of waiting for the courier to come. And I'm waiting on two packages, one I want and one I want to return. So I need to be very, very careful that my new cycling jacket doesn't get sent back and that the RAM does get sent back.
Okay, so
Anyway.
you go in and you're specking out your dream machine.
Yeah, and so it comes to, when I spec it all out and I throw in Apple Care, it comes to €3,000, 2,900 and a little bit. So it's €3,000.
Okay.
And then it occurred to me, it's like, okay, well, hang on, what is the current model of iMac? And I went and looked on good old Mac Tracker, love that app, and it said June 2017. So that is the model identifier of the current iMac is June 2017. So then I went, well, what would the refurb store have? And so I started clicking through all the 27-inch iMacs, and some of them were, late 2015 or whatever. And lo and behold, I found one that was June 2017. 16 gigs of
model.
RAM.
Oh,
The current model, 16 gigs of RAM, because you don't get to customize the refurbs, they are what they
Oh, right.
are. It had 16 gigs of RAM and a 3 terabyte hard drive. Now, the biggest hard drive they'll sell me today is 2. So my dream machine had a 2 terabyte Fusion drive, and the refurb one had a 3 terabyte Fusion drive. And the refurb,
right.
so the refurb is the same i5 CPU, the same screen, etc., everything else, because it's the same model of iMac, the same 16 gigs of RAM and a 3 terabyte drive instead of a 2 terabyte drive. And it was €400 cheaper.
Oh, wow.
So because Apple are so slow at refreshing their models, I saved €400, gained a terabyte of space, and have the identically same machine. It is the
Oh,
current
fantastic.
iMac.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, and I am very happy with it. We are fast becoming very good friends. A little bit of
How's
work
that
to do.
screen?
Oh my! I've had Retina screens on my phones and on my tablets and even on my 12-inch MacBook from work.
Mhm.
But a 12-inch MacBook and a 27-inch iMac, yeah, they're both Retina, but you know something? It's not the same. That I didn't realize how much better it would be. It's
Nice.
astonishing. Like everything looks beautiful. Every rounded corner in Audio Hijack is just pure perfection. It's wonderful.
All the little shades of dark mode.
Yeah, no, it's. Oh, I must actually try dark mode. I haven't done that yet. But no, it's just. Yeah, it just looks gorgeous. And of course, we have USB-C and all the new shiny goodness as well. So this is a pretty darn future-proof Mac. So
Well, yeah, that's
if I
the
get
thing with the Thunderbolt on those Thunderbolt 3, more importantly than USB-C, you can later on when SSDs get even cheaper, you could have a bootable SSD, right? And it would be
Yeah.
as fast as what you have inside.
or certainly as fast as a spinning disk inside. Yeah.
Well, no, it'll be faster. I mean, if it's an SSD.
Yeah,
An external
yeah, but what I'm
SSD
saying
of a
is that
Thunderbolt, yeah.
there might be a little bit more latency because it's not quite as close to it on the on the motherboard. But whatever little bit more latency, but the slightly longer cable, is going to be completely eclipsed by the SSD-ness of it all, right?
Right. So that's a 5K display. That's not a 4K display. That's a 5K display.
Yes, it is. Which means that actually, and I've not been doing much video recently, and the main reason is because editing video on a 5-year-old iMac was not a pleasant experience.
Right.
I think editing video on this will be a very pleasant experience, though I have a fear. I may want a new camera.
Oh, no.
Because if this screen is this good, what happens if I put my video on it and it doesn't look this good?
No, all you need to do is use your iPhone as your video camera, Bart.
Well, yeah, it's good for many things, but it's not an SLR with an nice zoom lens on it.
It just doesn't have the zoom, but it's got the resolution that you want. It's
that is true.
Pretty amazing camera. I mean, people shoot full-length feature films on them now, right? So fantastic.
I can't even tell sometimes when I'm looking through my photo library. I have to go into the EXIF data to tell what's come from my SLR and what's come from my iPhone.
Oh yeah, Alex Lindsay keeps talking on MacBreak Weekly about how he prints out his photos and he puts giant prints on his walls, and he says 2/3 of them are from his iPhone, and he only knows that because he was the one who put them together. But he said otherwise I can't tell. And Alex Lindsay is as annoying and high endness as they come. So
yeah, he'll pixel peep with the best of them, and if he can't tell, we're golden.
Yeah, that's great. So is this now your full-time podcasting machine instead of your 12-inch MacBook from work?
Yes, it is. It's great to be able to podcast on a machine that's mine, and not, because work have so you're familiar with the buzzword BYOD, right?
Right.
Bring your own device. Mm-hmm. Well, that became unbuzzwordy, and there's a new buzzword which is the inverse of BYOD, which is called COPE, corporately owned, personally enabled.
Wow. Yeah, that's something my company didn't believe in.
Yeah, so we are a COPE institution, but it's not the same.
Right.
Because the device is still enrolled in the corporate, Intune and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you are on borrow, it's not the same. It's just not the same. So it's really nice to be back entirely independent on my own stuff for podcasting and fun hobbies.
It's huge and powerful in that display, and to be able to have lots of stuff up on screen at the same time, and to walk around going, I saved €400.
Yeah, so that is the real model, right? I have always been a fan of the refurb store. But if you're getting a machine that hasn't been refreshed in a while, you may actually have nothing to lose by going refurb. You're not taking last year's model at a discount. You're taking this year's model at a discount. And that's wow.
Right. I bought the 27-inch cinema display for myself at full price, and when I decided to get one for Steve, I just said, well, why should I pay full price if I can find it on refurb? And I found it was $1,000. I got it for $800. And I mean, it's as good as new. I mean,
and they're certified, right? And they come in a box. The only thing is your box is less shiny, right? It's
that display, and to be able to have. I'm actually gonna. Oh, Steve, are you typing?
Oh yeah.
I thought that was on the recording, and I could.
No, that was me.
I could see some dots and
Sorry.
things, and I'm thinking, how were we both talking and typing? Let me listen to this for a second. Don't make any noise.
No
it's $1,000. I got it for $800. And I mean, it's
wow.
No, he really was.
That was him.
Well. One of us.
That sounds like Bart. That doesn't sound like you.
Yeah, it is on Bart's track. Let's see.
He types with authority.
Yeah.
I think sysadmins tend to do that.
Yeah, he was typing. No, I think what it was actually was opening a water bottle or something.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that's pretty vigorous typing.
And I mean, it's, as good as new. I mean,
and they're certified, right? And they come in a box. The only thing is your box is less shiny, right? It's a plain white box.
Less shiny, yeah.
And the box with the keyboard and mouse in it says certified Apple refurb instead of iMac or whatever it normally says.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, there is no downside here because there's full Apple Care on it. The whole works.
And a lot of them a lot of them are where someone got it, opened it up, put it up on the desk, and went, I don't think I need this. And
Too
give
big.
it back, right? Yeah. It could be in that first 14-day window or 50-day window, whatever it is. So.
Yeah, and in fact, Apple's returns policy during the holiday seasons is quite generous, so they could even be returned gifts.
Right. Well, this
I guess
is
that's more for
January.
Anyway.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got that. Got this. This is great news. I think if anybody deserves a new Mac, it's you.
Oh, thank you. I'm enjoying it so very much. Anyway, until next time we speak in some way wibbly wobbly timey wimey thing, Talk to you soon. Happy computing.
Yeah, that's definitely happy computing for you.
Yes.
A little Doctor
Okay.
Who reference?
For you. Yeah, how did you get that?
Yes.
I've heard that before on Doctor Who.
So I have to make a remark here because Jill gave me a lesson that was Doctor Who. On because I think Bart did it earlier. Okay, I am going to mute Steve here and actually do some recording. What do you mean no tracks are enabled? How did that get unenabled? It's weird. All right, here we go.
Talk to you soon. Happy computing.
Yeah, that's definitely happy computing for you.
Yes.
Well, I thought that was a lot of fun. And I do have to point out that, yes, Jill, I know that wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, whatever you just said, that's a Doctor Who reference. I did not realize that until Jill told me about it. Okay, chapter mark. I have an actual...
So you already had that in your notes? You did,
what?
That was already in the post?
No.
Oh, okay.
Apple Music on Amazon Echo. And here's my title. It's a little harder to do, working in the dark mode. So there's an extension, I think it's like $10 though, called Dark Reader, I think it's called, and that will allow you to make everything dark mode, like even web pages.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm thinking about getting it because Steve whines so much about how bright my face gets when I put a white screen up.
It does get a little bright.
I got a plaque. Oh, what did I don't think we got anything. Did we get anything when we retired?
We get the 5-year things, but not retirement. We don't do our company doesn't do retirement gifts. They just swift kick out the door.
Don't let the door hit your butt on the way out.
Right.
Oh, well. At least you got a plaque. No gold watch, huh? All right, I'm going to record. Goodbye, Steve. Last week, Amazon announced that Apple Music was coming to the Amazon Echo on the 17th of December. In a surprise move, they came out with it on the 14th, 3 entire days early. Now, you know I don't listen to music, but I pay for a family plan on Apple Music so my entire family can use it. They don't use it, though. But for some reason, I keep paying for it. Both Lindsay and Kyle are in the Amazon Echo ecosystem, so I thought maybe this would make them actually use Apple Music if it was enabled on their Amazon Echoes. I decided I needed to figure out how to set up Apple Music on the Echo, and while I was at it, why not create a tutorial with screenshots and annotations with my beloved yet geriatric Clarify. The steps to do this are pretty simple, but I thought I'd walk you through them anyway. In the A-Lady app on the home screen on your iOS device, there's a misshapen hamburger menu in the upper left. Not sure why, but the third line of the hamburger is shorter than the other two. Anyway, if you tap on the misshapen hamburger icon, you'll see a menu slide in from the left. On that menu, one of the choices is Things to Try. Under Things to Try, you'll see Amazon Music. On the Amazon Music screen, one very prominent option is Select Music Service. I thought it was interesting that it's not buried in the small print somewhere. It's right up there at the top. The next page allows you to manage your existing services, which in my case showed iHeartRadio and TuneIn and Spotify, along with Amazon Music. I have no idea why those other things are in there. Anyway, above all of those items in that list, it says Link New Service. Again, quite prominently shown among services such as SiriusXM and Pandora, you have the option to link a new service called Apple Music. Select Enable to Use on the next screen and then authenticate with your Apple ID to give Echo access to your Apple Music subscription. For some reason, you have to select Allow yet again and then hit Done. Surprisingly, it then surfaces the option to choose a default music service. I say surprisingly because it would seem to me that even though they know you want Apple Music, they'd add a little bit of sand in the gears so you'd have to hunt to move away from using Amazon Music as the default. However, on this screen, you can choose Not Now or visit music settings to go right in and change it. At this point, you'll have the option to change your default music library to Apple Music. There's a second section I don't entirely understand called Default Station. you can change your default station away from Amazon Music to Apple Music. Again, I'm not sure what a station is. It's sort of like a playlist, but they have playlists too. And I thought maybe stations are pre-created playlists, but no, there's pre-created playlists and pre-created stations, both on Amazon. I do not understand. So I went hunting and I found a page on Amazon that supposedly explains the difference between playlists and stations. And there's a link in the show notes, so maybe you can figure it out. But after reading it, I was no more able to explain to you the differences. I pinged my friend Diane, who's really into the Amazon Echo. I even pinged Joe Duganzik of Smarter Home Life, who knows everything about this stuff, and he didn't know the difference. They're both curated. The only thing Diane could think of was playlists have an end to them, like there's only so much stuff in a playlist, and a station kind of goes on indefinitely. And I said, well, it seems like since it's what's the word for it? Not pre-created, but curated. Since it's curated, it must have an end, but you're just unlikely to get to the end of it. But in any case, you can send both of them to be defaulted to Apple instead of Amazon. So the cool thing is you can play Apple Music on your Amazon Echo devices now. Since Amazon is putting A-Lady in everything now. In fact, I'm pretty sure one of the fillings I just had put in on my teeth has A-Lady built into it. So having A-Lady be able to play Apple Music is a great thing. What are you laughing about, Steve?
A-Lady.
In my fillings?
A-Lady built into your fillings. That's a good one.
Oh, it's in everything. They got it in clocks. They got it in, we saw last year, they got it in makeup mirrors. We saw it in lights. It's in your thermostat. It's only a matter of time, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Toilets?
I don't need... Actually,
hey, A-Lady, flush my toilet.
By the way, the way it's normally said is, hey, A-Lady.
A-Lady. Yes.
I got Joe Duganzik on Clockwise. You guys should go listen. He was awesome.
I'll go find the link.
Yes, that's a good idea. He did a great job. I asked him how it went, and he said they hated me and told me never to come back. In fact, they told me I wasn't even allowed to listen to the show anymore. Joe is so funny. I love Joe. Oh, Jerry Lewis Lives. That is who it is.
Oh, yes, that's the voice.
That's exactly who it is.
Who called that? Oh,
hey,
Sandy.
lady.
Good job.
Sandy. Oh, good job. I've been saying it for a while and not, I've been hearing it in my head, but not catching who it was. Good job.
All right, I'm posting the link to the
good.
Clockwise.
That's a Clockwise.
With Joe.
I'm aware and beyond help. All right, muting Steve, doing an Amazon ad. Every week or two, I send out a plea to you to consider buying things via the Amazon affiliate links to products I recommend on podfeed.com. I have to say that you guys went bananas in the last month, especially over Thanksgiving weekend. You guys collectively sent Amazon $8,297.52 through my Amazon affiliate links. Now that's some serious dedication. When you do buy through my Amazon affiliate links, a small percentage, which varies all over the map, by the way, that may come back as fees that help pay for the expenses of creating the Podfeed podcast. I think every one of you who have read the articles, found the links, and then done your shopping through those links on Amazon. It truly makes a huge difference to me. You guys believe that? $8,297.52. And that doesn't include Germany.
Wait.
Just got to check.
What is $8,000?
That's how much they spent.
They spent.
Wait,
okay.
Was that clear? I hope that was clear. You guys,
you might want to make that clear. Let me see what you read.
What I said was, you collectively sent Amazon $8,297.52.
Right. That's pretty clear.
Okay. I hope that's. Why doesn't it include Germany? Because there's a separate affiliate store for every single freaking country. But let's see.
So that was the U.S. only.
Yeah.
U.S. only.
So Germany did about another $2,700 by themselves. Actually, that might be.
That's again what they spent.
That's what they spent. Yeah. I get checks from Germany all the time. I had to open a separate bank account at Chase Bank just because of Amazon Germany.
But describe why. It's not because there was so much money flowing in. It was
No.
because
It's
our,
because
our
they
bank
send
would not
checks.
accept foreign currency.
We have many banks. We have
None
three,
of them would.
I think. None of them would accept it. But okay, here's my favorite thing about this. So the title of the check at the top says Amazon.eu. And then, but the address is in Luxembourg. Now that's important because Luxembourg is the capital of the EU. That's where this or centralness of the EU is in Luxembourg. But then the payment is in Euro. This isn't the funniest one. What was
No,
it? Oh,
you
no.
had-
Here
you
we
had
go.
a
I'm
better
sorry. No. It's better than that. So the check at the top left says Amazon.eu, right? Great. Then it says Deutsche Bank. So that's a German bank, right? But the address for the Deutsche Bank is in London. And then the dollars, the amount is in euro. And at the top, it says Luxembourg. So I handed it to the guy at the bank the last time. I went, wish you the best of luck figuring out what this is.
It does clearly say euro, though. I mean, that's...
Well, it does on this one, but I finally got paid by Canada. Canada's so slow. No, Canada, they try. I don't know. For some reason, people don't get credit when they try from Canada. And it said dollars. It didn't say CAD. And I told the guy, I said, this is from Canada. I'm pretty sure it's CAD. He goes, nope, it's US dollars. I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's CAD. He said, nope, it's US dollars. So he took it, he put it in his US dollars, and then a week later I got a letter from the bank saying, that wasn't US dollars, that was CAD. So here, we're taking this much money away from you.
You had a little tassel moving there.
All right. Well, this is fun goofing around. Okay, I've only got, wait, that's it? Nope, that was it for me. It's time for security bits.
Wait. Oh, yeah. That is it, right.
But I went 18 and a half minutes. Well, I guess that was with Bart.
Maybe you
helping,
could play the first 5 minutes of security bits.
We can play as much as you want, Steve. It's up to you.
We're not saying this is a content light show or anything, but...
No. It's security bits. Okay, hang on. Let's see how long security bits is. Security bits is an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, really? By itself? Oh, so this is
Yes.
going to be a long show.
Yeah, that's why I said it's not a short show. It's just I didn't do much
It's
work.
just a short live show.
Yeah. Well, no, we can make it as long as we want. Yeah, but we were just having fun.
So
It's
do you
a
summarize
huge-
up front what you're going to hit on security bits so we can kind of get a
No.
summary when we hear the audio?
Do I or will I?
Will you? Well, you or Bart?
Well, you've got no.
Oh.
Why would we do that?
Well, tell
Steve,
them what
you
you're
have-
going to tell them, and then tell them what you just told them.
Tell them. I tell you what, Steve, you've got the blog post up. Why don't you tell us what we're going to tell you? Go ahead.
I don't have it up.
Why
Probably should.
not?
I don't
I
know.
thought you have the links ready for the show notes.
Oh, I have the link. Here we go.
Yes. Go. I
Okay.
think you should read it to them, dear.
That's going to wind it up. No, that's not it. I was
No,
about to
follow
summarize your
the
show.
security-
Okay. Wow, there is a lot here. I don't think I can. So
Just read the
Bloomberg's
headlines.
controversy. Okay, security bits, 14 December 2018. That's it.
That's the title, Steve.
Okay. So you got Bloomberg's controversial
Bloomsburg?
the big
Have another beer, Steve.
the big hack story. We got the Marriott breach. We got Australia's Assistance and Access Act.
Oh, that is the best part. Let me tell them about that part.
All right.
This is hysterical. I got to read this. I'll do a new tab in Chrome. In theory, Chrome will let me do a new window. I know I'm going to be real bright here for a second. Jeez.
Ooh.
That is really bright. Let me put it over here. Okay. You guys, so this is really a punchline, but Australia came up with this new, the Australia's Assistance and Access Act. And the idea is it's supposed to help companies break copy protection for the government. That's the idea. But get this. A notice issued by the Attorney General requiring tech companies to build a new capability to decrypt communications for law enforcement. The bill stipulates this can't include capabilities that remove electronic protections, such as encryption. Let me read that to you again. A technical capability notice is a notice issued by the Attorney General requiring companies to build a new capability to decrypt communications for law enforcement. The bill stipulates this can't include capabilities that remove electronic protection such as encryption. They have to be able to decrypt it without removing encryption.
That's interesting. So it's like maybe they're using quantum computing or AI.
AI. Yep, they're going to solve it all with AI.
But they're not going to remove the encryption.
I'm sorry. That's moronic.
Yeah.
Okay,
that doesn't quite make
let's
sense.
see. All right, let me hear how this sounds here. Huge difference to me.
I lost it.
Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots. I'm glad to have you here, Bart. What's up? Nothing much going on, did you say?
Oh my goodness me! Is it been? I've spent twice as much time on this week's show notes as normal, and I don't feel I'm particularly well read up on all of it. To be honest, wow, it's been busy.
All right, so no faffing about. We should just jump right in. What's happening?
What is happening? Okay, well, so let me see. Where do we start? Some follow up first. Our good old friend, the big hack story from Bloomberg, has had some developments since last we spoke. Supermicro didn't really like being accused of being used to spy on major U.S. corporations, so they engaged.
Wait, not being used, being accused of using.
Well, no, being accused of being used. So the accusation was the Chinese government infiltrated them.
Right.
So they engaged a third party outside auditor to come in and audit them. And that auditor has now reported, and they basically say that they found nothing. No software, no hardware, no nothing.
Yeah,
now,
they looked at old ones and old boards, new boards, everything. They couldn't find anything.
Correct. But of course, they didn't look at every single board ever made by Trend Micro. So it is impossible to prove that no motherboard ever had this. But it is certainly...
I'm fine.
If this happened at all, it is not widespread. It is not happening right now. But of course, you can never prove that there never was a pink teapot orbiting Saturn. So
it seems so weird that Bloomberg doesn't have to come forward and why they think they know what they know. You know?
I know.
I mean, I was in a debate with Tom Merritt about whether or not it's libel, and it is libel if it can be proven to be false.
Oh God!
Right.
So we're in an awful circle here.
Right. Well, I personally never believed the story, but
I mean, we talked about it in great detail at the time, and we both independently came to the same conclusion while doing our homework that we didn't believe it, and I still don't believe it. And the fact that we now know that there are other newspapers trying to recreate the story and they're failing to recreate it. Bloomberg have failed to substantiate it in any way, shape, or form. So it just continues to not stack up.
Yeah, and part of it is that I want to believe in Apple was why, but another part of it is which was the least improbable story, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean that is actually how we analyzed it, if I remember rightly, back in that episode. We actually sort of, someone who is usually trustworthy is wrong here. Which of them is it most likely to be? And we both came to the same conclusion.
Right.
The other follow-up then is the Marriott breach we talked about last week. So the big piece of new facts we have since last week is that the New York Times did some digging and they have tied it back to the Chinese government as being the attackers who were in for 4 years. Now, in a perverse way, that's good news.
Really?
Well, yes, because it means it's not cyber criminals who are interested in credit card fraud.
Okay.
State actor who's trying to spy on people and figure out who's meeting who. I mean, if I was a Chinese dissident meeting in hotels, I would be really, really worried, because knowing when a whole bunch of suspects get together in the same place and time could really help the Chinese government figure out who's plotting and stuff. So it's kind of really dangerous information, especially with those passport numbers being in the leaked information. But from a cybercrime point of view, for people who have no contact with China, this is better than cyber criminals because at least the Chinese government don't care about you unless you care about them.
Great. Didn't that article also say that the same hack appears to be going on in other places, that it wasn't just Marriott, Starwood at the time?
Yeah, which, I mean, that doesn't surprise me because if you're interested in figuring out who's staying where, why would you only care about one brand of hotel?
Right. That wouldn't be in the list. Yeah.
Yeah. So the instruction to have gone to the hacking division of the Chinese government would have been to figure out who's staying in what hotels, and they may or may not have succeeded everywhere they tried, but they would certainly have tried more than one.
Right.
And then also linked in the show notes is an interesting opinion piece by Brian Krebs, who basically says, okay, well, let's take this as a teachable moment. If you're running some sort of system that contains some sort of data, what should you take away from this? And if you're a user of systems that contain data, what should you take away from this? And in both cases, it really comes down to live your life on the assumption that your data is hacked. If you're a corporation, you should not. The old model where you had a firewall and you could assume that everything behind the firewall was fine and that all the evil was outside the firewall, that concept belongs in the 1980s. Leave it there. That is not how you should be designing your defenses. And as a user, you should input your information into as few places as possible because the chances are wherever you put it in, it's going to get lost. And you should defend yourself as best you can.
Well, even if you never put it out there, you should assume it's going to get lost. The Office of Personnel Management data was on paper form when we submitted it.
That is true. You didn't digitize it, but it was nonetheless digitized. Yeah.
Yay.
It's not cheerful, but to be honest, it's actually kind of a strangely cathartic way to look at things. If you look at the world that way, you can actually do a lot to minimize the damage, but you have to start by assuming failure, and then you can actually be productive. Whereas if you,
I don't know. My perspective is I am 100% failed and I will be for the rest of my life. So all of these articles are just so what to me.
Right, but they tell you how you should do things. So they tell you that you should lock your credit.
Yeah.
So you should do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right. So basically, if you live your life on the assumption that your data is indeed owned, well, then you adjust what you can to make sure. So you basically defend yourself on the assumption that it is hacked.
Right.
And then your defense is actually valuable. And if your assumption turns out to be wrong, hey, no harm. Right. But if you live your life on the assumption that your data is safe and you're wrong, oops.
Right. I gotcha. Okay.
So we have two security mediums to get to. The first one was planned, and the second one sort of arrived in my RSS feed last minute. So Australia have been busy in their parliament passing controversial laws, or specifically the Assistance and Access Act. Could you fix a typo in the show notes? There's only one act in Assistance and Access Act. It's not the Act
okay.
Act. So this has now passed the lower house of Parliament, is expected to sail through the rest of the formalities and to become law early next year. So the bill is designed to allow the government to issue three different orders or two different types of order towards their the tech companies operating in Australia. So they escalate. So the lowest level they can ask for is what's called a technical assistance request, which is a notice to provide voluntary assistance to law enforcement for safeguarding of national security and the enforcement of the law. So basically, if you could imagine that you're Apple and you have, because of how things work, you have people's emails because that can't be encrypted as it arrives, well, then it's reasonable to say, there's this terrible thing going on. Here's a warrant from a judge. Can you give us those emails that you have sitting there unencrypted, please?
Okay. I better stop it there. And I am going to have to do the bright preview. Maybe I'll shrink up the screen a lot so Steve doesn't have a heart attack about how bright my screen is. All right. Time to wind this up.
Take us home, Podfeet.
Take us home. Wow, it got real hissy.
You
having a hissy fit,
fit,
Steve? Yeah, your audio got real hissy.
Me?
I wonder what that is. Yeah.
It could be my fans are blazing away and picking up on my mic here.
On your mic? Maybe. You're really far from your mic.
Does that make any difference?
I like to be up real tight on my mic.
Let's do the NPR thing.
Oh, gosh, that sounds good, Steve. Seriously. Could you guys see
this
here?
is
I'm
Steve
different.
Sheridan at npr.com.
Hi. We're here to talk about sweaty balls. That was a Saturday Night Live skit. Wow. Well, I forget what the point. Why it was his name was Shweddy.
Yeah, his name was Shveddy.
Shweddy. No, it was Shweddy.
No, it's Shveddy.
And it was what's his name?
Alan
Baldwin.
Alec
Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec. Okay. I'm gonna mute Steve. Here we go. Yeah, that is a funny skit. Steve, find that on YouTube and put a link to it.
All right.
But Steve, you do sound way better when you're close up. Oh, Dr. Gary is the guest next week for Chit Chat Across the Pond. And this time we did a rant about the things that bother us most in grammar. And it's just a completely silly episode. But she has a grad student who did a study on, or a former grad student who did a study on the effects. Let me say this correctly. They took two scientific podcasts. One of them was Science Friday, and they made the audio bad, and then measured how smart people thought the person who was talking was, and how important the research was. They measured that on the bad audio versus the good audio, and shockingly, bad audio makes you sound stupid. So anyway, she says she's going to help me get her on my show. I think that would be really, really interesting. All right, here I go. Bringing it home.
Your relatives, maybe give them a security checkup. I might appreciate it.
Good idea. Well, I promised you that was a long show without a lot of prepared content, but of course, all the heavy lifting was done by Bart. But that's going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send in your dumb questions. I haven't had a dumb question. I've got one, but I'm not sure I answered it really well, so I'm not sure whether I can use it. Anyway, you can always contact me by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com, or you can follow me on Twitter @podfeet. Remember, anything you're looking for at podfeet.com, just write podfeet.com/whatever it is you want. You're trying to remember how to get to Patreon? Podfeet.com/Patreon. You want to join our Facebook group? Podfeet.com/Facebook. You want to join our Slack community, which is on fire and doing really, really great? Podfeet.com/Slack. You want to join the live chat room? Podfeet.com/chat. You want to find those Amazon affiliate links? Podfeet.com/Amazon. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, but not until the 30th of December, there will not be a live show next week, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Boom.
That's a wrap.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah.
NPR's delicious dish. It's Shweddy balls.
Yeah.
I said it was Shweddy.
Well, I think you said sweaty.
What do you mean, well? No, I said Shweddy.
Right.
I said it with a T, but you said Shveddy or something.
I had a V in there. You're right.
Yeah, I was.
Right.
I was.
I
Closer.
stand corrected. Let's just drop this.
Really? You were wrong? Is that what I just heard?
It happens every couple years, but I admit it.
It happens all the time. It's just admitted every couple of years.
Touche.
Touche. Okay, that reminds me of
yes.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball, yes.
Dodgeball, where what is his name? It's
the husband of Marsha. Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller?
Yes.
Is it Ben Stiller? Yeah. Where he's plays the gym guy and all he ever says is touche. Very funny. All right, Rick, Merry Christmas. Have a great holiday. All right, we should probably wind it up really quick here.
So we won't
Thanks for
see
listening
anyone.
and stay subscribed. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we won't see anybody for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, so everyone have a merry one and enjoy your holidays and be safe, be happy.
Happy Hanukkah,
friends and family.
happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Hope you get lots of great tech gifts.
Yes.
And I guess we're signing off.
And when you
quick.
come back, let's hear about your tech gifts.
Yeah, you could do reviews of all the tech gifts you got. You could do recordings.
That. Perfect.
In fact, if you have any next week, that would probably be super handy if you could make a recording or two. All right, guys. It looks like Steve's ready to call it. Rick's gone. We might as well get going. So goodbye, everybody. Merry Christmas. Festivus. Oh, I forgot Festivus. Thank you, Frank.
How could you forget Festivus?
I'm so glad we got to spend it with you guys. It was really fun. All right. Bye-bye. Bye, Rose. Mwah.